Hello, welcome back to another Website Depot podcast. As ever, I'm your host, Greg Benevent, and we always like to take this opportunity to highlight some of our clients that might be able to help you in many different ways. Today, I'm very pleased to be joined by attorney Belal Hamideh. Belal, how you doing today there?
I'm good, Greg. Thanks for having me.
Of course, glad to have you, man. So yes, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into the job that you have and all that.
Sure. So I've been practicing for almost 8 years now. My office is primarily in Long Beach. We do personal injury, workers' compensation, employment law cases. The way I got into, becoming an attorney is actually a funny story. I was fortunate enough to graduate high school early at the age of 15.
Whoa.
So I couldn't, yeah, I know. I took basically it's like an exit exam. So I was able to skip 11th and 12th grade and started in community college. And I initially wanted to be an engineer, but I wanted to go to UCLA. I wanted to transfer there from El Camino College. And I was in the counselor's office just waiting, and there was like a paper with all the required grade point averages to transfer.
Yeah.
So engineering is very competitive at UCLA. You needed, I think it was like 3.87. So a 15-year-old kid looking at that, sitting in a college counselor's office, hearing about how hard college is, I said there's no way I could do that, but I still needed to get into UCLA.
Right.
So I went down the list and I saw economics at a 3.5 required GPA. And I love math, that's part of the reason why I wanted to be an engineer. Okay. So I said, you know what, let me do economics. So then I ended up getting a 4.0 at El Camino College. So I could have still done the engineering thing, so I was fortunate to have good grades. So then I transferred to UCLA, did reasonably well there as well. And I wanted to be an investment banker, but it was very competitive. And, it wasn't the best field to get into. So I needed to explore options. Either I wanted to become an accountant, or I wanted to pursue a postgraduate and become, a professional in something different.
Okay.
So I chose law school, and, from the first day of law school, I loved it. I remember I had a torts class, which is when a third party negligently injures you. And I was in a class with 200 people, and my teacher, he said, if someone is drowning in the lake in front of you and there's a rope with a tube, and all you have to do is throw it in there and you'll save them, or you could just stare at them and they'll drown. Is it illegal to not throw the tube in the lake? So it's not illegal.
Okay,
it's
I was going to ask.
But it's not illegal.
Okay.
So there's a fine line between morality and legality.
Yeah.
But I found it to be very interesting, the entire subject, and I enjoyed law school. When I graduated, I got into personal injury and workers' comp, and I've been in that since.
Great. No, that you were right. That is a great story. That had an entire arc. I mean, that was like an epic. That went all over the way. That was great. Well, you and I were talking before we recorded this. I mean, the reason that we're doing this, over Zoom and not in a studio or a coffee shop somewhere is in large part due to the pandemic. So I know we were talking about that. You were mentioning that there are some new cases coming out where COVID's going to be a big part of things. I was wondering if you could say more about that for our viewers here.
Yeah, sure. So one of the newer trendy areas of law, and you may have seen a lot of social media advertisements start popping up about it, is the business interruption claims for COVID. So basically, when there's a government shutdown of your business, you're unable to work and you lose revenue. So the insurance provisions have provisions in there specifically for civil authority shutdowns. You have to prove that there was a physical damage within a specific radius of your building, which rendered your building unusable and was the reason why the government shut it down. So the physical damage doesn't have to be structural damage. It only has to be something which rendered your building unusable. So if you were to be able to prove that like somebody with COVID
Mhm.
within the vicinity of your building, someone contracted the virus and was close,
Mhm.
then basically that provision with civil authority shutdown would apply. But
Mm.
the problem is that there's exclusions as well. So when you
Oh,
try to
geez.
get paid under an insurance policy, you
Uh-huh.
have to you have to prove that there's coverage under one section, and then you have to also secondarily prove it's not excluded somewhere else.
Oh.
So one of the big exclusions is if the physical damage is the result of a virus, which obviously, as the COVID is a coronavirus.
Mhm.
So that exclusion is in there because in 2003, I believe, when the SARS epidemic occurred,
Mhm.
the insurance companies were having to pay out a lot of these business interruption claims, and they specifically wrote in a virus exclusion.
Oh,
So
geez.
the large majority of insurance companies, these business owners are making claims and they're not able to get paid because they're saying there's a virus exclusion or a
Uh,
communicable disease exclusion. And a
uh,
communicable disease is a disease which you can transmit person to person, which is also what the coronavirus is.
mhm.
So there's a growing number of attorneys, what I've seen that are taking these cases, and we're looking into it and considering assisting, small business owners with their interruption claims as well.
Okay, so small business owners that are listening to and watch us, and I know we got several of them. That's something, if you run into this problem, if you have these kind of if you've had these kind of interruptions, and basically everyone in practically every kind of industry has, this is they could come to you maybe and get the kind of help to get them over the hump here. Like,
Definitely. And we don't charge an hourly rate, it's a
hmm,
contingency fee, which means that unless we win money for you by way of settlement or verdict or
mhm,
any other way, we don't charge. So we take on the risk.
gotcha.
So
No,
I
that
would invite anyone listening who's a small business owner who's been shut down, who has a commercial policy with a civil authority shutdown provision in there,
mhm.
who's been denied by the insurance company. I'll be more than happy to look at the insurance policy and see if maybe we can help them get covered.
Cool. No, that's great. That's great that you're doing that for business owners. Speaking of the pandemic and all that, I know it has and it hasn't, affected your business. You're still out there taking in clients, representing people, all that kind of thing. I was wondering if you could say a little bit more about that, about what you're still doing out there, how your business continues, that kind of thing.
Definitely. So we've been working remotely to the interest of our team members and our employees. The last thing that we want is for team members to contract the virus and then to ultimately be undermanned
Hmm.
and also to jeopardize their health and the health of their families. You can have the disease and be asymptomatic. So the best thing to do is to just stay at home, really. A lot of attorneys, because I believe we are considered an essential business because
Hmm.
we provide legal services for injured people. They rely on us to collect disability payments for them, medical treatment. These are all essential things that people need. However, I still decided to continue to work remotely until I was absolutely certain that it was safe or safer to return, in which
Good.
we wouldn't risk the safety of our employees or any other persons they deal with.
Hmm.
And we were about to maybe go back, and then the riots and the protesting started.
Oh, jeez.
And Long Beach right now is a hot spot.
Hmm.
Um, so we're just taking it day by day and trying to see when is a good time to return when everything is safe.
Gotcha.
But
No,
we
that
are providing, sorry, but we
No,
are
no, no,
providing
please keep
services.
going. No, they're here to see you, man. I don't need to hear me. No, 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 keep talking. Yes.
We are providing services the same as before. Difference is we don't do any face-to-face contact now, but we do offer virtual, consultation so that you can still have somewhat of a physical meeting without being in vicinity of each other.
No, that's great. No, thank you. I think that covers it for today. I think that thank you so much for coming on with us, Bilal. It was really great, and thank you for all of you at home or wherever you are watching or listening to this. On behalf of Website Depot, my name's Greg Benevent. Take it easy. Have a good night.